OpenAI's new GPT-5 full course 1 hour. Build and automate anything. Today, I'm going to show you everything about GPT-5. OpenAI just dropped their biggest model ever, and it's changing everything. I tested it 20 different ways, and what it can do is absolutely insane. You can build entire apps with one prompt, create AI agents in minutes, and there's even a $200 Pro version that's blowing people's minds. Hey, if we haven't met already, I'm the digital avatar of Julian Goldie, CEO of SEO agency Goldie Agency. Whilst he's helping clients get more leads and customers, I'm here to help you get the latest AI updates. Today, I'm going to show you how to build and automate anything with ChatGPT-5. We're actually going to run through 10 different ways to use it and build anything you want based on what you want to do, right? So, for example, you could use ChatGPT-5 for building a basic website. I'll show you exactly how to do that. But if you want to code more interesting projects, I'll also show you how to do that too. And I'll give away the full step-by-step processes for every single method that we run through today. So let's get straight into it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over to ChatGPT-5. And this is actually, I would say, the best way to get personalized recommendations, right? So if you want to use ChatGPT in a way where you're journaling, for example, then this is one of the best ways to do it. You can also, for example, use the Canvas method, which can build stuff as well. I'll show you exactly how to do that in a minute, right? So if we switch to Canvas over here and we make sure we're using ChatGPT-5, then from here we can start coding away, right? So if we just say something basic, okay, knowing what you know about me and my SEO agency, build out a beautiful landing page, right? Something like that. So as long as you've got Canvas enabled down here, then you can actually use ChatGPT, and based on what it knows about you, because it remembers every single conversation, you can create something really personalized to you. And you can see it's now creating the code. And what it's going to do in a minute is it's going to ask you to allow access. And then from there, we can run the code in a second, and we can actually get the code on a canvas, preview it before we build it, etc. Right? And you can share that with people as well, which I'll come on to in a second. I'll show you exactly how to do it. So let's wait for that to load. And that is one of the first methods. Again, if you want like the full step-by-step SOPs for all this stuff inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments in the description, and we'll just wait for this to load. Now, in the meantime, whilst we're waiting for that, one of the other ways that you can use this is to build your own AI agents, and you can use NA10 for this, right? So if we go over to NA10, whilst we're waiting for that to load, we can sign in here. And NA10, you can actually host locally if you just want to use this for free, which is pretty cool as well. But I'm going to use the version online just to make it nice and easy. João says, hello from Portugal, Lisbon. Thanks for sharing. Happy to help, mate. And what we're going to do from here, this is super easy and simple. Let me show you how easy and simple this is. If you've never built out AI agents before, we actually have a course on how to do it in less than 5 minutes inside the AI Profit Boardroom. But essentially what we're going to do from here is we're going to add the first step, and we're going to just type in AI agent. All right. And pretty simple and easy. Then from here, we're going to add a system message. So for example, you're a helpful assistant. Let's put you're a helpful SEO assistant for keyword research, just to actually create something useful and valuable with GPT-5, right? And then from here, we're going to go down to the chat mode, and we shall select opening. Then we're going to select 5 from the list. All right. So there's many different models of GPT, but you want to use 5. Now, if you don't have your OpenAI account connected, you would just go over here and get an API key from platform.openai.com, right? And you would plug it in there. So from here, then we're going to select ChatGPT-5. I'm just going to go with, let's see what we got. I'm going to go with Nano because it's super fast and easy, and it's also quite cheap as well. So if you're watching this and you want to save money, that's probably one of the best ways to do it. All right. And then if we pull up the chat here at the bottom, what we can do is we can just go back and forth with this, right? So let's say, for example, we want to get keywords for my SEO training program, something like that. The AI agent is going to run with GPT-5 as Nano. In the meantime, we've got the landing page ready to go in the background. But over here, we've got the AI agent ready to go. And now we've got the keywords down here, right? So you've just created your own keyword agent inside NA10. You just plug in your keywords. So you say keywords for SEO training program. It gives you a bunch of ideas. And you got a bunch of easy keywords that you know you can easily rank with, right? So a bunch of good ideas related to your niche. And that would work for any niche, any industry if you're doing SEO and that sort of thing. So once you've done that, you can actually deploy it, right? So if you click on that, you can deploy this, and then you can get a publicly available URL once you've deployed it so that you can share that with your team and that sort of thing. Also, the other thing you can do here is you can download the template, share that with your team. So for example, if I go back to the AI Profit Boardroom and I wanted to share that with you, which I do, then I'm going to go to resource file over here. We're going to plug in the JSON file, and I'm going to say, okay, basic AI SEO keyword agent, right, with GPT-5. You could just download that, import that into NA10, and you don't even have to create it yourself now. You can just steal my template. So pretty simple and easy. What else we got here? Charles says, hey, my guy, sorry I got cut off last time. Laptop wasn't plugged in. Hope you're enjoying GPT-5. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Is it as good as something like Claude? I don't know, honestly. I think there's been a lot of underwhelm compared to what Samuel was saying. But I know that a lot of people want to learn how to build it, how to use it, etc. It is a big step up from GPT-4o, etc. Asap says, why use AI instead of a website builder powered by Hostinger or systems? Because you get more customization, right? Building a website is just, it can be nasty, it can be draining, it can take a lot of time. And if you don't have a lot of time, if you're a business owner, then of course, AI is going to help you build something custom. And Aaron says, everything I've vibe coded is broken. All right, let's test this out. So this was a vibe coded landing page that we just started building a second ago. Let's run the code, see what we get. Maybe it's broken. Let's check it out. Santiago says, how can I use MCP inside NA10? One sec, I'll come on to that in a second. But here's a page that we vibe coded out with ChatGPT. So this is all based on what it knows about me. For example, we've helped websites go from like 0 to 145,000 visitors. I've been doing link building personally for 6 years now. We have 70 experts on the team. That is true. And it's even, this is pretty crazy, it's even linked out to my funnel. I didn't give it the funnel link, but because ChatGPT and especially GPT-5 knows about me and has a lot of data on me, it knows that this is my landing page, and also it knows that I like to add a UTM to track where stuff came from. So boom shakalaka, and that works really well. That is not broken. It actually works. Obviously the content's blocked inside ChatGPT, but we tested out that link a second ago and we were good to go. Right, if we want to run it again or stop the code or whatever, we can also share this with our team. So if we click on the share mode, we can share that with our team, or we can just download the HTML and then give it to them and they can use it wherever they want to be. All right. Coming back to this, if you want to connect ChatGPT-5 with MCP, we actually have a module inside the AI Profit Boardroom on NA10 MCP agents, right? So if you want to learn how to build your own MCP agents with ChatGPT-5, we have a module inside the AI agents and workflow section inside the AI Profit Boardroom, and then you can just learn how to build them yourself. All right. You just follow the steps step by step. Also, if you ever get stuck, you can jump on one of the live calls. We have live calls every single day, pretty much 5 times a week. So if you want to jump on those live calls, ask questions, etc., you can inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And then if you ever can't attend, then you can watch back the call recordings. Charles says, I'm digging your work, sir. Happy to help you. Yaya says, what does an SEO agent do exactly? Whatever you want it to do. For example, I created a keyword research agent a second ago. Black Mass Media says ChatGPT doesn't write as well as 4.0. I think one of the things that you have to do is adjust the prompts, right? So you can get really good outputs from ChatGPT, but it takes a little bit more work. I think you actually have to simplify the prompts. So that's one thing I would do. So if I say do your magic for SEO link building, it's going to use its knowledge on this custom GPT. And these are pretty nice, right? This one tiny SEO trick feels illegal. I feel like your competitors are waving page 1 whilst you're drowning on page 2. Yeah, we've all been there, blah, 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 right? And it creates like a really nicely written ad that's actually quite interesting, quite entertaining, etc. Has a nice CTA, and this converts. I know it converts because we test it on the AI Success Lab, and we create a lot of copy with ChatGPT-5 and post it in here, right? You just have to know the right processes, the right prompts, that sort of thing. Ask it how many strawberries are in R. I don't get it, but okay. So just to clarify, right? And Asap says, which is better, NA10 or Make? So when you're building with GPT-5, right, you got a choice, and I'll come on to Make now because we seem to have come to that conclusion. So what you can do inside Make is you can build AI agents as well using ChatGPT-5. Let me show you how. So what you can do over here is we just log in on make.com. This is another way to build out AI agents, right? So you got NA10, and NA10 is, I would say it's a lot more technical and also less linear, right? Like you can build out some crazy stuff inside NA10. If you've seen some of the stuff we give away on YouTube, for example, or on Twitter, you'll see some of the crazy stuff that we built. But for example, if we go down here, you can build like web scrapers. You can build some really complex stuff inside NA10. Let me show you some example templates, right? So if we go back to the AI Profit Boardroom, then we're going to go down to NA10 templates. If you want to build like something less linear, NA10 just gives you really good options for that, right? So let me show you this social media posting machine, for example. Like you're never going to be able to build this inside May.com. So if you want something really complex or you want something non-linear, then NA10 is amazing. If you want something really simple and very linear, then I'd recommend using something like May.com. So for example, here, if we go down here and we're like, okay, I want to automate social media blog posting. What you can do inside here, for example, delete the WordPress. You can link this to WordPress and that sort of thing, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to delete that module. And then we're going to link Google Sheets to OpenAI to Google Sheets, right? So this is, for example, an AI agent that you can build. So let me go back here. We can just create a new scenario. We'll go inside make, and then we can say, okay, take a spreadsheet and the data from my spreadsheet, and then use that to create content using GPT-5. So what you can see here is it's taking a spreadsheet that I have with make.com, and then with OpenRouter, we can switch between APIs. Now, the good thing about this is every time there's a new release or there's a new model that you want to test, you can use them all inside GPT-5, right? So if we type in 5 down here, we've got OpenAI GPT-5, or we've got Mini, right? I'm just going to go with GPT-5 over here, right? So we just switch out the APIs that we're using every time there's a new model. For example, if we want to create SEO content and then publish that straight to WordPress, we can do this like so. I'm going to choose where to start this automation. So let's click on choose where to start, choose manually. Let's have a look through the list. Let's go with Newark SEO just as a random keyword example. We hit run once. And we just need to update the API key, I think, inside here. So I'm just going to click on this, click add, OpenRouter, and then I need to grab an API key. So I'll just do that on the side, right? So if you want to grab an API key from OpenRouter, you can go over here, then you can go to keys, and then you can create an API key over here. Let me just check if one of these works. I might have a new updated one. Let's scroll down. Yeah, I think that API key is working. We'll wait for that to load. It does take a while. To Terry says, hi, Julian Avatar. Not today, sunshine. Not today. It's a real McCoy. Jacob, do I invest in business? No, I only focus on my own businesses. You've got to stay focused. But if you join the AI Profit Boardroom, there's loads of people in there who are looking for like joint ventures and that sort of thing. So for example, if we go inside here, you can post inside the community and just ask, is anyone else interested in starting a new project together or working on buying some equity from a certain business that you're running, etc. And a YouTube video says, I'm using GPT-5 now as I watch this live to build a complex WordPress plugin and refactor some of its functions. What I really like about GPT-5 is there's no nonsense and it makes the changes. Yeah, I would agree. Someone asks, I'm just going to stop that workflow because it's already created the WordPress post. All right, so we've created that. Nice and easy. Let's log into WordPress over here and see if the SEO agent worked. All right. And just to recap so far, I've shown you 3 different methods to use GPT-5. Number 1 is directly inside the chat. You can build like nice landing pages, etc. So we can run a page directly here. The other method is you can build AI agents inside NA10. And the third method that we've covered so far is make and building AI agents right there. So let's just check this worked. We're going to go over to posts. Make sure this works. Here's the Newark SEO. We'll preview that bad boy. Let's see what we've got. And that's the page ready to go. Honestly, I would tweak the prompts a little bit because it just it's not come out as nice, right? So you want to tweak the prompts on the formatting and that sort of thing. But that's a basic way of how you can do it. And then if you go inside OpenRouter here as well, you can see that you just say write a blog about, but you would say format it in, for example, HTML or something like that. And then if we go over to WordPress here, let's see what format we've got for WordPress. Yeah, so it drafts it down, and there we go. It takes the information from GPT-5. Again, I would change the prompt here just to make it much nicer formatted. So inside the content section, you might say, okay, write that in Markdown or write that in HTML, etc., and just make it a lot nicer. But yeah, basically, there we go. So we're good to go. And that is number 3. All right. Now, if you want all the SOPs from today, we've got it inside the AI Profit Boardroom, and this guides you in a lot more detail, right? So for example, we've got a full SOP on make.com, how to use it, OpenRouter, NA10, direct in the chat, etc. Right? Now, one of the other methods that you can use this with is you can go over to something called Cursor. And inside Cursor, you can use GPT-5, and I think it's actually free, right? So if you want to start using and building with Cursor, just open up Cursor like so. Right? You can download this for free as well. And then, I'm on a free plan. So you can see here, I'm on a free plan. I'm not paying for this. I've got GPT-5 enabled here. So if you click on the models, click on GPT-5, we're going to enable AI agent over here. And then if we take, for example, let's say you want to build a website, right? What you can do is you can grab all the content that you have on that topic, go over to Cursor, plug that in, and just say, okay, build a beautiful website for this business. And we're basically just taking the context of our business and then plugging it into Cursor to build out that stuff. Now you can see it's planning it, scanning through, and just beginning to implement it. And again, it's pretty amazing that you can do this for free. I think you get a certain limit. It might be like 300 conversations per month or something like that. But I think that for the average Jack Johnson, just testing out GPT-5, like this is more than enough. more than enough. Fantasy Cloud says for GPT-5 tests, are you using the GPT-5 High because that's the only fair test? I'm not testing it out today. I'm just showing you how to build with it, right? So like this, we're not going for fair tests or anything like that. We just, here's how you use Cursor, here's how you use Make.com, etc. All right, so Cursor will take a little while, so we'll wait for that to load in the background, but that is method number 4. Another way that you can use this is you can go over to Manus, right? Manus, let's have a look here. Manus is like a AI super agent, right? So you can build a lot of cool stuff with this, but you can use GPT-5 directly inside here, right? So they actually implemented GPT-5 directly inside Manus, right? Now Manus is quite interesting because it's connected to the internet and it's really good for like research tasks and that sort of thing. So for example, you've got all these different use cases that you can build with. And if you want to see some of the stuff that we've built with it, let me show you some examples here. So we built quite a lot of stuff with Manus, and the cool thing about it is it's very dynamic, but also it can load stuff and host stuff online, right? So you see how this is hosted on a subdomain, and we built out this 3JS runner game where you can just go around in a castle, that sort of stuff. And Manus actually coded it out. But now you can use GPT-5 directly inside there, right? The same, for example, for this SaaS tool. So we built out this AI SEO content writer. Literally all you do is you just plug in your API key, and then from here you can generate content on demand. Here's another one, and this is a directory website that we actually built out for SEO using Manus. This was a research report that it created, so it's really good at research. This was a nicer designed SEO agency website, and then you can also build out games as well. So this is like Manus version of Mario Bros. So let's go back to Cursor now, see where we're at. Seems to have built and it's setting up the local server. We'll run that, and that should be available to check out. And there you go, there's your website built with GPT-5. Right? So you can see that it's taken all the information from my website that we pasted in, and then created it and hosted it on a local subdomain with a nice like contact form, information about our business, who we are, etc. The about me information. These links do actually work, like you can see, and it's created a nice website. Now, obviously you would go back and forth, vibe code it out inside Cursor, but again, I'm on the free plan. It was super easy to build out, really easy, and it didn't take a long time at all. Now, if we go back to ChatGPT, the other thing that you can do here is you can switch between thinking and also GPT-5 Pro. Now, if you're using GPT-5 Pro, it's going to take a long time to come up with an answer. So this is better for more complex tasks. If you I think one of the best ways to use it is like you go into GPT-5 Pro and you're like, okay, knowing what you know about me over the last week, for example, what are some ways you think I can improve? Or how do you think I'm wasting time? Or what don't I see that I should know? Where are my blind spots, right? Because it sees you, it sees all your work, it knows what you're typing in and working on every day. So that's one of the best ways to use GPT-5 Pro from my own experience. It's obviously not good for quick answers and that sort of thing. You can use this inside Manus, and then also GenSpark is another good way to use GPT-5, right? So if you want to combine it with the internet, if you want to combine it with pre-built agents essentially, then you can do that inside here. For example, I've even built out with GenSpark like these videos, right? So let me mute this. I'll show you what I mean.
And the first,
So this was a video built with GenSpark and Veo 3. So you can combine ChatGPT-5 with other APIs like Veo 3, not just for completing tasks and coding stuff out, also for even creating videos and that sort of thing. GenSpark actually announced recently that it's free on GenSpark, and free users now have access to GPT-5 for free, right, directly inside there. So you can use this inside GenSpark and then build stuff out with it as well. If you want to know, okay, what can you build with GenSpark? Like what sort of stuff can you do with it here? Let me show you some examples. Honestly, I prefer GenSpark's outputs to Manus in general. I tend to find like it's a lot faster as well. But if you want to see some examples of what we built out with GenSpark, let me show you some here. So this is a SEO game that we built out. We also created a SaaS tool right here. This is a full website that it created, literally just went off on the internet, research stuff and that sort of thing. And then we have AI growth calculator. So you can calculate your growth. Fantasy Cloud says, why is your Chrome, Google, YouTube all darker? Because I'm in dark mode and I think you're in day mode. That's why if you want to learn how to switch that over, just Google it. But yeah, you can switch between dark mode and light mode. What else we got here? This is a quiz that I actually used to train my team so they can like answer questions inside the quiz. We have this keyword runner game that we built with GenSpark. I even translated my website into French and then deployed that. And this is another runner game that we built with GenSpark, right? And you can do this with ChatGPT now as well, because it's directly inside there. And Black Mass Media says, does your AI Profit Boardroom have instruction videos different from your channel? Yeah, we have so much in here that you won't find online. So for example, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, we have a 6-week AI automation masterclass that you won't find anywhere else. And literally it gives you homework and it's like, right, here's what you do week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. So it shows you exactly what to do. So for example, in week 1, you learn how to build an AI agent in under 5 minutes. And then also all these N10 templates are inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You won't find these for free anywhere else. On top of that, we have a crash course with all the automations I use inside my business. And these are videos not on YouTube. You won't find those anywhere else. On top of that, you also get my 6-week agency course on how to get more clients as an AI automation agency. And we have the YouTube AI section here as well. So this is a 6-week program that shows you exactly how to get more leads, traffic, and customers using YouTube and AI. On top of that, you get access to the community where you can post and ask any questions. You won't find that anywhere else. And additionally, inside the calendar here, you get 5 weekly live coaching calls. So you can ask any questions live on a call, get training on calls. And again, you won't find that for free anywhere else. So let's keep going now. We've talked about N10, OpenRouter. We've talked about Mate.com. Another cool way to use this is you can actually build stuff directly inside something called Bolt DIY. Now, if you want to run Bolt DIY, pretty simple and easy. You just clone this inside your terminal. Basically what this is like an app builder that you can host locally. So let's grab this and you can just copy and paste the instructions from the SOP like I'm showing you. I'm going to npm run dev that. That's going to give us a local host. All right. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to select OpenRouter. We'll go with GPT-5. Let's find it on the list. There we go. Now we have to get an API. So I'm going to get that over here. I'll just get that in the background. Don't want to show my API key on a live stream. And we'll just plug that in. So I've put that into Bolt DIY over here. As you can see, we'll hit save. And then we'll say, okay, code out an SEO calculator. Just totally random example to show you what you can do with this. And there you go. Black Mouse Media says, nice, I'm joining. Awesome. Good. It'll be good to see you in there and connect with you there. The AI Profit Boardroom is the only place that I connect with people personally, right? So if you want to connect with me, get help from me, coaching, etc., ask me a few questions, then join, link in the comments and description. From here, we can start coding out, right? The other way you can use this is if you go to Lovable, I think they've just implemented GPT-5 inside Lovable. So you can see here, GPT-5 meets Lovable, and essentially you can code with this. So I'm just going to log in here. And once you've logged in, you can use GPT-5 as you can see. So if we click on try GPT-5 now, we've got that selected as a model. So you can click that on and off. We'll click it on. And then from here, you can start building stuff out, right? So let's say, for example, okay, build out an awesome dopamine inducing Space Invaders game, something like that. So obviously I'm just doing this live on a video like this. This is not the sort of stuff you would normally build out, but I just want to show you some quick examples of what's possible. And then, you can see, so you can use GPT-5 directly here with the agent. So that'll run in the background. In the meantime, we have Bolt coding out with GPT-5 over here too. Avocado Juicer says, I love you, really love your emotions, your actions, yourself. I appreciate that. That's super kind. We've got some good people on today. Thank you very much, sir. So you can see Bolt is coding out now. We've got Dopamine Blitz Wars coding out on Lovable, and there's some other cool stuff as well. So we actually have an SOP on how to set up Browser Agent Web UI. Browser Agent Web UI, essentially what you can do with this, and we have a full video tutorial on it here, but essentially what you can do with this is you can actually control your browser using GPT-5, right? So you go inside here, you set up the API key, then you run the agent, and it can control your browser, control your browser, etc. I can't set this up on a live stream simply because it's going to shut down all of my Chrome instances. So avoid that. But if you're testing this offline, then you can use browser use web UI, and that can actually control your laptop with GPT-5 as well. Also, something to bear in mind here is if you're running Bolt locally, try not to have too many programs open. So for example, for me, I'm live streaming right now, which is already taking up a lot of memory. And then if I code with Bolt local as well at the same time, Bolt DIY, then it can get quite messy and slow down your laptop and that sort of thing. But you can see an example here. So SEO calculator, you just paste in your HTML, and then it gives you an SEO summary. So it counts like H1s, description length, title length, etc. Analyzes your HTML in terms of SEO. And we coded that out using GPT-5. So it worked out perfectly first time. Okay. Lovable is still coding out the example right here. But we've shown so many different ways to use this, right? If you want to get an SOP on Lovable, let me show you exactly how to do that. So what we can do, and I'll shut down Bolt Local now, and I'll also shut down Cursor as well, because we've already shown you what you can do with that. If you want to use Lovable, I've got a full SOP right there if you want to steal the step-by-step instructions. So that's still coding. That's going to take a little while, I think. Usually level is a little bit slow. What I'm going to do is just put that in the background, and then I'll come back to it in a second. And then there's a couple other ways you can use this and host this locally. This is probably going to slow down the live stream, which I'm dreading a little bit, to be honest with you. But what you can do over here is you can go to something called Visual Studio Code, as you can see, and then you can go to extensions. And inside the extensions here, you can choose between Klein or Rucode, and these can both use GPT-5 as well. So if we go to the settings, open router, type in GPT, and then scroll down, we can see GPT over here. And this supports browser use as well, so you can use your browser. We'll hit done. And then if we say, okay, right, let's build something out. Let's, I don't know, build out a Tetris style game. Make sure you've got GPT-5 selected as the API at the bottom, and then that'll code out in the background. And now you can see it's creating the file. So it's creating the HTML, the CSS, etc. And this is all using GPT-5. All right, so that's coding out now. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Zeno says, I had a few AI development, a full stack app, and I'm building it in VS Code, and it's Copilot. First time trying this. Backend is 8% ready. Nice work. And then Kusa says, your avatar. The operator says, hey, Giles, what do you have? And Kusa says, what does it try to go deep with? Okay, what's the best to go deep with? I think something like Visual Studio Code is good because you can go quite deep with it because you're building locally, right? You're creating something locally. So you save all your progress, you can come back to the project sometime, etc. And there we go. So now we've got Tetris built out, ready to go. We can move that around, we can flip that around, right? And we just built Tetris with GPT-5 in 2 minutes. Let's see if that actually works. It's taking me back to my childhood. There we go. Boom shakalaka. This man is a pro at Tetris. There we go. All right. So that was how to build it out locally using Visual Studio Code as well. And I'm doing this all live whilst talking to you, right? Obviously, it'd be a lot easier if I was just concentrated and focused. But I want to show you all the cool stuff you can do with this and how you can do it and everything like that. Kusa says, but Manus looks crazy from your last vid. Yeah, Manus is amazing. It's just a little bit slow. That's the only thing that I find a little bit frustrating with it, but it is really cool. It is really cool. And again, like you can do this inside Rucode as well. So if you go inside settings here, then we're going to choose open router. And then from here, we just type in GPT, and then you can use like chat, mini or nano. Honestly, I think if you're coding something out that's going to be semi-decent, then you probably want to use like the main versions of GPT-5, right? So chat or GPT-5 directly here. If you use like mini or nano, you're going to lack getting the outputs, to be honest. Yeah. And then that's basically it. That's how we build anything. So we've talked about using GPT-5, and I just need to add the Manus SOP inside here as well, peeps. Don't let me forget. And GenSpark as well. GenSpark, they also have a browser, which is pretty cool. So you can actually use their browser online as well. It's one of the only AI-powered browsers I've seen on the web. So if you want to use the Manus SOP, let me plug that in there. And then if you want to use the GenSpark SOP, let me pop that in there for you there as well. All right. So that's an insane amount of work to use GPT-5 and build basically anything that you want. We've talked about games, landing pages, tools. I've shown you how to even create videos with GPT-5 and there are 3 automations inside GenSpark. Pretty much everything you can think of is inside there, right? So we've talked about direct in the chat, NA10, OpenRouter, BoldDIY, Client and Make.com, the browser use, Web UI agent, Cursor, Ruco, Lovable, Manus, and GenSpark. 12 different ways to build anything you want with GPT-5. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all the SPs inside the AI Profit Boardroom, this also comes with my 6-week AI Automation Masterclass if you're just beginning with this. Also, it comes with an agency course, all my best automations that have grown my business personally. And additionally, we have a YouTube roadmap here. So if you want to learn how to build out a YouTube channel with AI, feel free to get that. And we have tons of AI SEO automations along with daily coaching calls and Q&As. And you can watch those back on the recordings if you can't get access. Inside the community, it's absolutely popping off, very active community. For example, this post alone, 450 comments on there. Additionally, you see all the cool stuff that's going on right here, lots of good posts. If you ever get stuck or anything like that, you can ask questions. And inside the calendar here, you can see all the calls here. So we actually have an NA10 automation masterclass, a weekly Q&A, a call with Dr. Jeff, who is a PhD scientist specialized in AI. And on top of that, we have a Friday Learn sort of thing. Now, if you want to join, bear in mind, we only have 35 spots left at the current price. So make sure you click on the link in the comments description and join now before the price goes up again. And really appreciate you watching. If you like, Julian, I just want you to go off and build this stuff for me, then feel free to book in an AI automation session. Link in the comments description. From there, you can book in a call. We'll look at your business. And obviously, this is about becoming a client, right? So if you book in a call, this is about you becoming a client and hiring us for AI automation. You can just book in a call and we'll show you exactly what you need to build to to automate and save time and save hundreds of hours per month. We have tons of good testimonials, like you can see right here. A lot of clients happy with our agency, Goldie Agency, and we'd be happy to help you too. What else we got here? Kusa says, good job, sir. Hopping in, once got spare, lolly. And then Michael says, is this live or avatar? If this was an avatar, it would be absolutely insane. But it is the real Julian Goldie here, all right? So appreciate everyone who's watching. Shout out to all the people who commented, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye. It's official. GPT-5 has been released. I'm going to be showing you how to access it today. If you don't currently have it inside ChatGPT, no problem. I'll show you some other ways to access it. And this is the biggest release of the year when it comes to AI. So you can see on OpenAI's official website here, they've said introducing GPT-5, our smartest, fastest, most useful model yet, with built-in thinking that puts expert level intelligence in everyone's hands. One of the interesting things about this is Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, ChatGPT, says that this is basically like a SaaS on-demand AI model, and also you don't need to switch between different models. It'll just figure out which one is the best. So you can see here they've said we're introducing GPT-5, our best AI system yet. GPT-5 is a significant leap in intelligence. This is better than all of our previous models, featuring state-of-the-art performance across coding, maths, writing, health, visual perception, and more. All right, and it is a unified model. Now, what that means is essentially, if you're using ChatGPT, you can switch between these different models, like thinking, or you've got quick coding analysis, reasoning models, etc., advanced reasoning. It's all a little bit messy. Whereas inside GPT-5, you'll be able to access this in one single unified model, and it'll just pick out which one is the best one for you. All right. Now, if we actually have a look at this as well, we have access to GPT-5 inside OpenRouter. So you can see there are many different models. So you've got, for example, GPT-5 Nano, GPT-5 Mini, OpenAI GPT-5, and then GPT-5 Chat as well. You can also start coding with it inside Playground AI. So you can go to the chat here, start using GPT-5 directly here, and you can code with the API key as well directly. Now, if you want all the notes from today, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description. Just go to the SP section, and all the notes from today will be inside there, along with loads of other stuff, including daily live coaching and all my best courses. GPT-5 not only outperforms other previous models and benchmarks and answers questions more quickly, but more importantly, it's more useful for real-world queries. All right, so it significantly reduces hallucinations, which is a great move in the right direction. Interestingly, they talk a lot about health here. When I'm looking through the page, writing, coding, that's pretty standard. Health is a new sort of description of the model that I've not really seen before. So they've obviously made some advancements. It's going to be interesting to see how that's used for health and that sort of thing in the future. The other interesting thing here is it's good at front-end generation, right? So for example, if we have a look at what people are generating with it, people are like one-shotting games. It's pretty crazy. If we have a look at this tweet from Aline, he said, what's truly impressive about GPT-5 one shot in this game is in the graphics, is the flawless prompt adherence and constraint handling. A fully functional, interactable game generated in a single pass. This level of instruction following and code generation is wild, right? And you can see an example of what that looks like right here. So you can basically like one-shot games on the front end, that sort of thing. You can see how it performs in terms of numbers. So if we look at the different versions of GPT, on the scale is off the charts, isn't it? It's ridiculous compared to other people. Let's keep going through now, see what we got. Sam Altman is tweeting about it as well. So he said, you know, when you get access to GPT-5, try a message like use Beatbot to make a sick beat to celebrate GPT-5, and then you've got like this SaaS tool that's just been created. You can see how quick it is. He created that in literally 6 seconds, which is absolutely wild, and the UI is pretty nice as well. So it can like create games and SaaS and that sort of thing on the front end too, which is pretty exciting. And this literally just came out, I think they literally just did a live stream like 2 hours ago as I'm making this video, right? You can see here, yeah, the announcement just came out 1 hour ago. This is brand new. This is fresh off the press. And most of the world has not even seen this yet. So if you're watching this, you're probably in the top 1% of the world seeing the latest releases from AI. The other thing I was going to say is this has different models. So we've got GPT-5 Mini, etc. And GPT-5 is the strongest coding model to date. So you can see the differences in the charts right here. And this is the other thing as well. So they've got different personalities inside the chat. So you can, for example, use cynic, robot, listener, or nerd. And then you can customize those in your ChatGPT settings. You can also switch between like research, text only, opt-in, change anytime, blah, blah, blah. And you've got some examples right there, right? So that's what it's going to look like once you've got access. Now, this is rolling out to everyone around the world. So again, I don't have access inside ChatGPT directly, but I do have access inside OpenRouter. All right. So if you want to get access directly, just go to OpenRouter if you don't have it already released inside ChatGPT. Here's another example. So this was just one single prompt, basically making it the strongest coding model ever when it comes to building stuff out. So we've got the jumping ball runner. I'm just going to mute that so it doesn't get too noisy. But yeah, it's built this game. This is actually playable as well. So it's been embedded directly on ChatGPT's website, and then you can build out one-shot games and that sort of thing, which is pretty cool. Pretty nice looking UI right there. That's the prompt that we use. We can actually test that right now. So if we take this prompt and then we go over to OpenRouter, let's just try what we got here, So we've got nano, mini. Let's just try this one instead. So I'm going to go directly inside the chat here. You can see the price and that sort of thing. We can look at the specs as well in a sec. There's a lot to talk about here. Who we got watching, by the way? If you're watching this live, shout out to you. Thank you for watching. Let us know which countries are you watching from. Put a flag in the chat. I'll give you a shout out. So this looks like it's using the reasoning model. If we just go straight into ChatGPT, we didn't ask it to, but I think it will automatically choose between the different reasoning models. And then we can come back to that in a second, right? So I've used exactly the same prompt from the website for the game, and we'll see if it actually does one-shot it perfectly like we've seen today. In a minute as well, later on in this video, we can compare it against different models, see how it goes as well. We've got someone from Algeria, I know it, Norway, shout out to you. So creative expression and writing. GPT-5 is our most capable writing collaborator yet, able to help you steer and translate rough ideas into compelling, resonant writing with literary depth, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what else we got here. So I'm really interested about this. Like, why are they talking about health so much? I know they did have a specific model for health. I didn't think that would be integrated with GPT-5 so much. But this is interesting. Compared to previous models, it acts more like an active thought partner, proactively flagging potential concerns and asking questions to give more answers, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if, for example, some people going to the GP and that sort of thing, whether they're just going to turn to ChatGPT for the health-related stuff. This is interesting, right? So, for example, it's comparing GPT-4o versus GPT-5, so write a short poem, and then you can compare the outputs, right? So you got GPT-4o over here, and you got the outputs of GPT-5's poem over here. This is a lot more poetic than this one, right? It's still using those crazy M dashes though. Those haven't gone for some reason. The M dashes are here to stay, maybe even in GPT-40. All right, that's creating the code now. It's coding it out. It's taking a little while, but we'll come back to that in a second. Ahmad says, maths is 100% insane for me. We got Conroy from United States. We got some legends from Norway. Plenty of people from Norway here. All right, so let's keep going down. Yeah, it's a lot more advanced, isn't it, in the responses it's given for poetry as well. If you just smash it out loads of poems on GPT-5, maybe you aren't. And then we've got the evaluations here, right? So GPT-5 is much smarter across the board. So for maths, 94%, SWE, 74%, 88% on ADA, Polyglot, blah, blah, blah. And let's compare them now. So you've got all the different modes. GPT-5 Pro, that's interesting. I've not seen that model yet. And then if you compare it, O3 was pretty good to be fair, but it was super slow. But if we compare this, GPT-5 is absolutely crushing it, is absolutely destroying it, right? So this is without thinking, and this is with thinking, if that makes sense. So you got reasoning versus non-reasoning for competition maths. And if we have a look here, look at that, GPT-4o is all the way down there at 42% versus GPT-5, absolutely crushing it on maths. Let's see, Frontier Math, compare the benchmarks. It's absolutely destroying other models. Harvard Maths Tournament, PhD level science questions. Yeah, so just across the board, GPT-5 is crushing O3 and crushing O4 as well. Let's see, we should have this code back by now, surely. Yeah, we got the HTML back. Let's test if it actually works. There's only one way. We can talk about it all day, or we can test it, my friends. And I'm a man of action. So let's take this HTML. We'll grab that. We'll go over to LiveWeave and we'll have a cheeky gander. So here we go. This is a one-shot game. Let's see if it actually works. It doesn't work. Look at that. I'm clicking play. It didn't work. Let's just try it on something else just to make sure we haven't got this wrong. What I can do is just go over to something like Claude and say, preview this code. And it will just turn it into an artifact that we can play. But there, it didn't work. What are we doing here? I'm testing the same prompts they've got on the website. It didn't seem to work there. Maybe we need to test it on, let's see what we got here. That is the most powerful model, right? And the most expensive by a long way. It's 5 times more expensive than the mini version. There you go. We've tested it live. Like great coding as expected. So let's have a look here. Instruction following and agentic use. GPT-5 shows significant gains in benchmarks, blah, blah, blah. Agentic searching and browsing. I do think that's going to be a big part of it, right? But if we actually have a look here, it's 54%, which is not bad, but I don't know if that's going to be good enough for using this day to day. What else we got here? Multimodal, reasoning, health. If it can't code out a HTML game, even maybe I wouldn't use it for my health. Let's see what else we got here. Faster, more efficient thinking. If you're wondering how to access all this and you just want all the links, etc., feel free to join the AI Profit Boardroom. All the links are inside the SPs. Just go down to GPT-5, which is right at the top for you there to make it easy. Link in the comments description to that. What other questions we got? We got people from France, Luxembourg, Italy. Shout out to you, legends. How can we use this for SEO? I'll come on to that in a minute. The other thing I've noticed is I've not really seen much about image generation, so I don't think this has a new image generation model. I think it'll be using the previous one. More benchmarks here for safety, and there we go. All right, and it says on the how to use section, it says GPT-5 is a new default in ChatGPT. Paid users can still select GPT thinking, but if we go over to ChatGPT, it's not there. So it must be rolling out later. It was only announced like an hour ago. Yeah, so it's starting to roll out to all Plus, Pro, Team, and free users with access to for Enterprise and Edu coming in the next week. All right. I've been saying on my YouTube channel for quite a while, it's going to be free. People are saying, no, it's not going to be free. It is free. I'm not one of those guys who says like, I told you. So I'm not going to say that, but yeah. You can see here, you can get access for free. The difference is the usage volume, right? So for example, Pro users get unlimited access to GPT-5 and GPT-5 Pro will be interested to see how that performs. Plus can use it comfortably as a default model, and then free users will be on like a limited tier, right? So this is all the stuff about GPT-5 Coder, some cool stuff there. All right, so let's have a look. Has Claude previewed it here? So we've got it here. Let's test it out again, and look, it doesn't work when I preview it on Claude either. So this is interesting, right? I bet if I use that exact same prompt inside Claude Opus, it's actually going to work. So let's test that out, right? If we go over here, let's grab this prompt like so. We'll go over to Claude, run a new chat here. We're going to select Opus 4.1, and we'll just see, okay, can Opus 4.1 outperform GPT-5 with exactly the same prompt that OpenAI actually used on their website? That would be interesting to test, right? So let's see how it goes, and we'll see which one is the best for coding. Now, in the meantime, you might be wondering, okay, like what's the best way to use this for SEO? Someone asked me before, because it's better at coding and that sort of thing. So let's test this out, right? What we're going to do here is I'm going to use one of my favorite content prompts. It's inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to steal this from me. We've actually got a bunch of AI SEO automations inside there. So if you go to the AI SEO automation section inside the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description, you can get access to all of my best automations like you can see right here for AI SEO. So what we're going to do over here is we shall go to ChatGPT. We'll just use a basic model. So the chat, go inside the chat here, and we'll test this out. Now, also you can select app inside the chat here. So if you want to get the canvas preview, you can select app. We'll do that in a second to test out. But in the meantime, what we want to do is just create an article about a keyword. So let's say, for example, just totally random keyword. We'll plug this in. This has got all the information about me, etc., who I am. It's very contextual, and we'll use that to generate the content, and we'll see how it performs as well. All right, so it's planning out the content right there. Now it's writing it, and we'll compare that side by side versus Claude Sonnet in a second. That's still coding out the game, so we can't compare the outputs before. And Bearmass says, Julian, when do you think Google will respond to the GPT-5 threat with Gemini 3.0? I think Gemini 3.0 is coming very soon. I think that's going to come out. Usually what they do is they just release like as soon as everyone else does. Same with Claude. I think Claude proactively released Opus 4.1 because their new GPT-5 was coming out this week. Yeah, I think this is something is coming very soon. Vamsi says, how do I access GPT-5? I'm not able to access it on the web. It just goes to OpenRouter if you want to get access. Otherwise, it'll be released later today to everyone, I think. So it's just rolling out, right? Rolling out slowly. Some people get access sooner than others. All right, so this is the output from Claude Opus. To be fair, even like the already looks better than GPT-5's output, which is pretty interesting. You can see here, we've got the output. Let's see if it actually works. Yes, it does. So how interesting is that, right? we use exactly the same prompt from GPT-5's website. GPT-5 struggles to code it out, whereas Opus 4.1 did it out perfectly and created a really nice game out of it. If you're going to pick one model for coding, as it stands, there's only one that gives me a working output. So that's really interesting. Let's see what else we got here. So we got the content back from here as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this output using Claude for Sonnet as well, because that's probably the most sentient that I've seen so far for writing content, if that makes sense. So if we go over to Claude Sonnet 4 here, we'll plug in exactly the same prompt, and then we'll compare the SEO content side by side, and we'll just see which one performs the best, which one creates the best outputs. That's the only fair way to do it. And we're using GPT-5 chat here to create this. And we'll see which one just feels the most human. Ramsey says, thanks for replying. Great work. Been following you for months. Appreciate it too. Happy to help, mate. And Claude is just absolutely smashing it, to be honest. Do you know what would be interesting as well? Is we take the same prompt, because I'm interested now. You've got me interested, all right? So we're going to plug in the same prompt inside Gemini 2.5 Pro. We'll select the canvas, just created directly in here. And we'll see whether Gemini 2.5 Pro can create a better output than GPT-5, all right? So we're going to go inside the chats here. We shall take exactly the same prompts for the jumping ball game that OpenAI recommend. Let's take that. We'll plug it into Gemini 2.5 Pro, plug that in, and we'll just see whether that can create a working output as well. In the meantime, we've got the content back from Claude for Sonnet, and we'll compare which one create the best content. All right. If we actually have a look at the prompt that we gave here, this is interesting because, for example, if we have a look here, the keyword was SEO training in China. And if we have a look on the outputs, let's have a look first of all at the title. The ultimate guide to dominating Chinese search markets versus SEO training in China, how to rank, win, and dominate. I would say GPT-5's title is nicer. Let's have a look at the intro. You're in China, you've heard SEO can work. You spent money on ads, burned cash on agencies, still no long-term results. Sound familiar? SEO in China is different. The rules change. Let's have a look at this content. SEO training is not just another digital marketing course. It's your ticket to cracking one of the world's most lucrative, blah, blah, blah. I still prefer the content from here, right, from Claude. It just feels a lot more sentient. It does use a keyword as well inside the introduction, which is going to help it rank better. Basic stuff, but that's going to help it rank better with SEO. Whereas if we look at this introduction, it doesn't really mention SEO training in China until quite a few lines in, which is going to make it harder for search engines to rank it, to be honest with you. So this is the title of the second part of the content. So why SEO training in China matters more than ever. Now, we all know, we've all seen this AI fluff word right from the beginning, right from ChatGPT 3, and it's still there today. So honestly, I prefer the writing from Claude. I think it feels more sentient, it feels more natural, it's nicer to read, it's better optimized for search engines. I'm going to take the content from Claude, honestly, over GPT-5, which is a shame. I was really excited for GPT-5. Now let's see how Gemini got on. If we go over to Gemini, yeah, to be fair, Gemini struggled with that. So we've got an error straight in there. So if we're putting them in the rankings, I would say Claude, Opus 4.1, number one. Then you've got GPT-5. Then you've got Gemini 2.5 Pro in this specific competition. Some people are asking, like, what do I think of generative optimization? I'm not going to go into that because it's a little bit off topic for today. But if you want to learn about that stuff, just check out the SEO Elite Circle. SEO Elite Circle is a place to be. We've got a very active community that talks about SEO every single day. We've actually got trainings on AI SEO, loads of cool stuff in here. So make sure you join that if you want to learn more about SEO and actually get weekly coaching on that too. All right, so I want to try Sam Altman's other prompt. Let's pull this. It's in LM Arena as well, and it is number one on the score there, which is interesting. It's apparently beating Claude Opus 4, which is interesting because I don't think it's winning at the minute, right? But I give you the real tests. Nobody's showing you this stuff, right? We're just testing real stuff live to see what actually works and what doesn't. So let's keep going now. If we go over to X and let's take the prompt from Sam Altman. So use Beatbot to make a sick beat to celebrate GPT-5. All right, so we're going to take that one. And what we're doing now is inside OpenRouter, we can compare them both, right? So we're going to take Opus 4.1, we're going to take GPT-5, we're going to make sure we use app, so create an HTML app, and then let's hit enter on that and see what we get back from both of them, right? So it's creating the artifact on both. We can see which one comes back to us the fastest, which one gives us the best outputs, etc. Very easy to compare them side by side. I keep refreshing my ChatGPT just to see if we've got it through, but it's not coming through. Might take a while, that. This is interesting. It's actually available for free inside Cursor AI. No way. All right, let's check it out. Let's see, is that actually GPT-5 is available with free credits for paying users during the launch week. All right, we can test that out in a sec. I'm going to sign up to Cursor AI just to show you how it performs. All right, so we've got Cursor open over here. It's been a while since I used it, to be fair. And we've got GPT-5 down there, and we can use GPT-5 inside the text there. So that's another way to code with it. I actually don't think I'm on a paid plan here, but I can still access GPT-5. And then we can switch between agent, ask, and edit. So this is really good for coding out. We'll come back to that in a second. In the meantime, we have the artifacts back. Look at this as well. So this is interesting. GPT-5 is still coding out, whereas Opus 4.1 has finished already. Let's open up the artifact. We can preview this. We've got that back. Boom shakalaka. Look at that. That's looking good. That is looking good, my friend. All right. I'm going to unmute this. Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's incredible. We got big beats. We got big beats. Opus loves to celebrate the launch of GPT-5. Now, where's GPT-5 gone? There we go. All right, let's open this artifact. So this is still coding out, right? You can see the 3 dots are buffering right there. So that might take a little while. So if you want to get access to Cursor for free, from what I can see, you can just code with it directly inside here. I'm not on the paid plan as far as I know. Yeah, I'm not on the pro plan. I'm on a free plan. So if you want to get free access to GPT-5 right now, you can just go to Cursor. We actually have training on how to use Cursor inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Just type in Cursor in the search bar and you can get access to it. If you want to learn how to use this stuff and where to access it and download it, etc. But yeah, you can see we've got GPT-5 down here. We can switch between GPT-5 and GPT-5 Fast. We can use it for free as far as I'm aware. Let's see if we can do the same thing. So if we go inside the chat room, look at that, GPT-5 is still coding out. We might have to rerun the prompt, but let's take this and that's generating the output here. And then, all right, so that's pretty cool. So there you go, problem solved. You can get access to it with Cursor inside here, as you can see. Now it looks like it's stuck inside the search on chat on OpenRouter. So I'm just going to X off Opus. We'll try this again, run the app, enter, and then we'll go from there. But as far as I'm aware, like Opus is still outperforming it on pretty much everything. Like for speed, for the outputs, we have to rerun the prompts for GPT-5. I mean, for content creation, Claude Sonnet won there quite clearly. But if you want to use it for free right now and you don't have access inside ChatGPT, just go to Cursor and then you can use GPT-5 directly inside here. And it's pretty fast inside here, which is cool. The other thing that I'm noticing is Cursor is a lot faster than Visual Studio Code. Usually Visual Studio Code, if I was live streaming, would slow down my whole laptop, whereas Cursor seems to do better. Let's test some more stuff now. So if we go over to Plus 4.1, let's take something basic like a hyperdopamine pong game. We'll go over to ChatGPT, GPT-5, and we'll use it here. And again, we'll switch between Opus and we'll compare the outputs, right? So let's run that in the meantime. This is rinsing credits, but that's the price I will pay for you, my friends. That's the sacrifice. It's finished coding this out. Let's have a look. That's pretty cool, to be fair. Wow, that was loud. That was loud. To be fair, that's a lot more complex than this one. If we go to here, this is the output from Opus. This is the output from GPT-5. I would say that's way more complex. We'll stop that. But yeah, that's pretty cool, to be fair. I would say that GPT-5 won on this round. Even though we had to get it to do it twice, the outputs are really cool there. And we can switch between like humanize, swing, BPM. We can mutate the beat. Like you can see, we've got all these different options here. That is a superior output to Claude Opus, which the UI looks cool, but it's not as good as that. And now you can see we're getting the HTML back. Oh yeah, we're getting this GPT-5 party started, my friends. Incredible, incredible. Let's take the beat down. Yeah. I would say it's pretty good, to be fair. It looks like you get better outputs with OpenRouter directly when we test out the artifact. Like that's a lot more complex. But if you want to create something fun, interesting, and you want to use it for free, then just go inside Cursor and just code right there, right? And if you need some help on that, join the AI Profit Boardroom. So that is it so far. Yeah, if you're wondering when ChatGPT is going to be released to everyone inside the app, that'll come out, I would say, later today, so give it 24 hours. The API is available. I've tested it today. We've tested all of the different things we can do with it, how we can build it out. Honestly, for content creation, I would still stick to Claude. For coding, Opus 4.1 is definitely on the same level. And there's been certain tasks that GPT can't do that Opus 4.1 can. So I don't think that GPT is the best thing. Honestly, you're going to get similar or better outputs with Opus anyway. We've got trainings on both. So if you want to learn how to use Opus 4.1, we've got trainings inside that Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Otherwise, you can go over to inside the AI Profit Boardroom as well. We also do 5 coaching calls a week, so you can jump on Q&A. We have 10 masterclasses here. On Fridays, we do a learning masterclass and weekly Q&A as well. We also have a PhD scientist who specializes in AI, Dr. Jeff. So if you want to learn more about AI, this is the best place to do it. Inside the classroom, you have all these different courses. These are all the stuff that we use to grow our business. So you can see here, for example, we've got a course for agencies if you want to get more clients. We've got all the automations that I use for email content, social media, and video automations. If you just want to learn AI automation from scratch, we have a 6-week masterclass with actionable homework each week to just level up and make sure you make progress. And then if you want to learn how to create a YouTube AI channel, then we have a 6-week roadmap right here that shows you exactly how I did it, plus a bunch of cool AI SEO automations. Plus, inside the community here, we just share our wins, we learn, we grow together. We have a great time doing it. We have a great success, like Borat likes to say, as you can see right here. And it's a very active community, right? Where we're just sharing, winning, learning, growing together, and we're just constantly updating and improving things as well. So feel free to join that, link in the comments description. We're currently, see how many members we're at. We're at 1,182 members right now as I'm speaking. The price does go up at 1,200 members. So make sure you sign up now before you miss out. Otherwise, you're going to pay more later. So make sure you sign up now. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one, my friends. Today, we are going to be building out some AI agents using GPT-5, right? So this API, it literally just came out, and you can build quite easily NA10 AI agents. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that today, right? So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to go to A10. You can just grab the instructions from the AI Profit Boardroom if you want. Basically, from here, what we could do is click on Create Workflow. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, okay, how do you build an AI agent, especially if you've never done this before, etc. It's really simple inside NA10. It's probably one of the fastest and easiest ways that I know to do this. So what you can do is you can create a AI agent, like you can see over here. You just add a new module. So add node, type in AI agent, and then you can start getting this set up with GPT-5 really quickly. And at this point as well, you might be wondering, okay, what's different? Why is GPT better for AI agents versus other benchmarks? Number one, it's got pretty high benchmarks, for example, avoiding hallucinations. It's also got multimodal reasoning. It's good at coding, and it's very fast. Plus, it has a bunch of different models that you can select between depending on what you want, right? So for example, you could use Mini for lighter and faster, cheaper jobs. You could use Nano for ultra fast and ultra cheap jobs, but it's pretty powerful either way that you use it. And it's really good for NA10 workflows because it has a 400K token context window, which is higher than many other APIs. It's also fast, cheap, and also it's really good. It's built for agentic stuff, right? So if you want to get started with this, what you need to do from here inside NA10 is you would go to your AI agent, then you're going to select chat model. Over here, you're going to type in open. And at this point, if we run through here, what we can see is we've got GPT-5 on the list, right? So if you type in 5 over here, we can select the list. Now, if you haven't already connected your OpenAI account, let me show you how to do that for scratch. Don't worry, I can get it set up for you pretty quickly. So what you're going to do over here is you're going to grab an API key, all right? So to grab an API key, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to platform.openai.com. All right, platform.openai.com. Link inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you just want to learn where to get this stuff and how to set it up, etc. But from here, you can go to the developer platform and you just need to grab an API key. All right, so what you're going to do is go to your dashboard over here. Then you're going to scroll down to API keys. Then you're going to create a new secret key. And once you get that key, all you're going to do is paste in that API key over here. Simple as that. Really simple stuff. You can leave everything else the same. So the base URL is this one. And then once you've got this set up, it's going to say connection tested successfully. All right, so we can retry that, make sure it's working. Boom, it is. Great stuff. Then from here, you're going to see the model list. And again, you just type in 5. All right, now you've got a bunch of different options here. For example, you got GPT-5 2025, the 8th of August, chat latest, mini, nano, etc. Nano. And if you're wondering, okay, like what are all the differences between these models? So let me pull this up. You can actually compare the models over on OpenRouter if you want to see some examples. So let's pull these up. Now, Nano and Mini are more lightweight versions of ChatGPT, right? Now, you can see they all actually have a 400K context window. And what that means is it can just handle a lot more context in the chat, right? So if you compare that to something like Claude has a smaller context window. One of the complaints I see from people inside the AI Profit Boardroom all the time is that people, they don't get enough tokens in a conversation and then they have to start a new conversation, start using it again. Does that make sense? So basically, if you want a longer conversation and more context, then you would use something like GPT-5 instead of Claude. And they're pretty comparable in terms of how they code, right? Now, if we have a look over here, what you're going to see is that this is a full-blown model, right? So it's 1.25 million input tokens, $10 per output tokens. Now, if you compare that to Open GPT-5 Mini, that's way cheaper to use this model, right? It's going to save you a lot of money. If you use Nano, even cheaper, mate, right? So you're going to save the most money with Nano. And if you're not doing anything too complex, then that's one of the best ways to use this, right? So what we can do is type in 5 over here. Let's go with Nano just to make it easy and simple, all right? And then we've got that set up. So we've got the OpenAI chat model. That's going to run when we run the chat. Inside the AI agent, what we're going to do is we're going to select system message. And then from here, you can basically tell your agent whatever you want to do. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but where does it get the instructions on what to do next? So what you can do over here is select a prompt, use a message, and inside this section, we've got the chat input. By the way, if you have any agents that you want to see me build today, whilst we're doing this live stream, just post inside the comments. Happy to help you. Shane says, sup, Goldfinger, good to see you here. And Bassif says, hello as well. Good to see you here as well, mate. All right. Andrew says, hey there, thank you for doing this. Unfortunately, I won't be able to stay on the whole thing. Will this be available as a rebroadcast for me to watch later? Absolutely. So if you actually go to my YouTube channel and then you click in the live tab, right, so you can watch this back. Plus we create like an edited version to save people time on our normal videos as well. All right. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to get back to this workflow. We're going to stay productive. I'm just going to select your helpful assistant. All right. So we're going to open up the chat just to make sure this works. And I'll say, hey, mate, all right. We just make sure that actually works. So we're using the Nano model. The Nano model is great for chat because it's fast and it's cheap. All right. So if you're going back and forth quite a lot, that's going to save a lot of time. So inside here, it says, hey, good to chat. What can I help you with today? Answers, writing code, planning, just a quick chat, etc. Right? Now, if you post another message here, it's actually going to forget what you said because it needs a memory. All right. So what you're going to do over here is you're going to click on the plus sign and select memory. Now, this is really easy to set up because all you do is you click on simple memory. All right. And then this shows you how many past interactions you want the model to use as context, right? So if it's only 5 on the window length, then that means it can only remember 5 previous messages that you've sent before it forgets again. All right. Now, if you want to extend that, simple. You just type in 20. All right. So if we put 20 here and say, hey, what did I just say? Now it's going to use the simple memory feature and it will remember previous examples. All right. So it's used the simple memory section here, as you can see. All right. It's running through the chat and you can see it's using the simple memory to do that. So if you want to clear this chat, just click on refresh here. If you want to deploy this chat, you've got your GPT-5 one-click AI agent ready to go. What you can do over here is you can actually make this publicly available. Okay? If you make it publicly available, what that's going to do is it's going to create this chat URL that you can share with people. So we can put inside here, hey there, I'm GPT-5, have a cheeky chat with me, all right? And then you can add other stuff as well. You can even allow file uploads and all that sort of thing when you deploy this. But I just want to show you the fastest, easiest way to get this bad boy deployed, okay? So if we hit save, make this active, and I'm just gonna deactivate some other active workflows. 1 segundo. So let's deactivate these other ones. Or you can just upgrade your plan. And also you might be wondering, okay, but can you get NA10 for free? We actually have a tutorial inside the AI Profit Boardroom that shows you how to build this stuff locally for free, right? So if you want to build this locally for free with NA10 instead of paying for NA10, then you can get the local guide inside here. And it shows you exactly how to set this up, right? So it shows you how to set up NA10 locally right there. All right, so let's get back to this. And from here, we're going to deploy this. So let's make it active. Boom shakalaka, that was easy. All right, then we're going to go over here, chat URL. We're going to open this up in a new incognito, plug this in, make sure it works. Here we go. Hi there, I'm GPT-5. Want a cheeky chat with me? I certainly do, sir. I certainly do. All right, and if we say, hey, mate, what you doing? Here we go, right? Chat deployed. How fast is that? We literally just created a one-click AI agent in the space of 10 minutes, as promised. All right, so from here, we're going to go back to the canvas. And now we're going to create something more interesting. Now, in the meantime, if you want to get access to this, I'm going to download that JSON file. It's importable. and I'll plug it into the AI Profit Boardroom so you can just steal it from me, along with the cheat sheet and all the relevant links from today. We also have like tons of NA10 workflows inside here, so let's add a resource file. We'll upload that. We'll call this basic GPT-5 agent, super basic one, because we want to start with the basics, just show you what you can do, and then expand it from there. If you actually go inside the classroom here, then you're going to go to NA10 templates. You can see all this other cool stuff like video generators, social media posting machines, email analyzers. We even got like workflows for NA10, like SEO optimized WordPress blogs, etc. So some really cool stuff in there. And from here, what we're going to do, linking inside the comments description, from here, what we're going to do is start building out something a bit more interesting, a bit more fun, all right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over to one of my best SOPs for creating SEO content. We'll use that to generate content inside NA10 with GPT-5. All right, so I'm going to take this prompt and I'll show you how simple and easy it is. So we'll grab that, we'll delete that, we'll grab that. You can see how this is all going to be customized for me, my business, etc. We're going to grab that prompt and then we'll go back over here and then we shall go to the AI agent inside here, system message. We're going to take the system message like, and I'm going to say this is how you create SEO optimized articles. And the keyword equals the keyword I specify to you. Then we've got context. So you can just replace this with information about you, your business, etc. If you pull this up full screen, let me show you how this works. All right. So it's going to insert my funnel links. It's going to write some nice content about me, who I am. It's going to make sure that it writes it in the right way because we don't want any trash. And then from here, we're going to go back, escape, and then boom, we've got an SEO agent ready to go. All right. So do you know says, how do you create your AI videos? So if you want to create AI videos like me, just go to the AI Profit Boardroom, go inside the crash course, and there's a section on AI avatar videos down here and here. All right, so if you want to know exactly how to do it, go to the AI Profit Boardroom plus crash course right there. So let's go back here now. Link inside the comments description, by the way, for that stuff. And then from here, what we're going to do is we shall go over here, AI agent, and we're just going to test this out. So I'm going to say my keyword equals SEO training Japan. All right, it's using that memory function we were talking about earlier. It's creating the content now. We can pull this up full screen. And the good thing about using this like an SEO tool is that number one, you can host NA10 locally for free. Number two, you can use the latest APIs whenever you need to. You don't need to wait for whatever tool you're paying for to upgrade it. Number three, you can actually customize this to your business so that when you're creating content, it's all customized to you, how you want the content, etc. And number four, it writes the content much better, right? So you got the content right here as an example. And that's a pretty short article. And I think that's because we're using Nano, all right? So what I'm going to do over here inside the OpenAI section is I'm going to switch over and I'm going to use the real McCoy, which is the actual full version of GPT-5, the full powered version. Okay, so we're running over here. We'll switch that over. We're going to refresh the chat and put keyword equals SEO training Japan. Make sure the article is 1,000 words or more, and we'll get it to start creating that. All right, G is going to be a bit slower than Nano, of course, and it's going to be a bit more expensive. But if you get better outputs, it's 100% worth it. Someone else is asking, would you be able to create an AI agent that can evaluate the performance of LLM models based on criteria like accuracy and latency? You go into something like ChatGPT and you say, give me some instructions for my AI agent / custom GPT that analyzes the performance of LLMs plus researches which models are the best, right? Now, if you do that, obviously, if you're using something like GPT-5, what you'd have to do is add in a tool and you use something called Perplexity, right? Perplexity's tool, plug in the API and everything else. Perplexity's tool can actually go off on the web and start searching. The other one that you can use is Firecrawl. Firecrawl is pretty cool as well. But yeah, you want to make sure that it's connected to the internet. Because if you use GPT-5's API alone without adding that tool in, the biggest issue with that is it's not going to be connected to the web. And so it's not going to have the latest benchmarks or data unless you upload it inside the chat, right? So that's the main thing to note here. Now, again, this is pretty slow. The other thing to note here as well is that probably a lot of people are rinsing the APIs right now and the servers are getting overloaded. But yeah, there you go. And Danny says, what do you think is better for coding development right now, Claude or GPT-5? Honestly, from what I've seen, I did a test on it yesterday. You can watch the video back. Where is it? This one right here. If you watch that video back right here, you'll see me compare the outputs. And to be honest, GPT-5 actually failed on some tests that Claude Opus performed really well. When you watch that video, you'll see. So I would honestly say that Opus does the job. And if you want to create something really good, Claude Code is very powerful. So I'd recommend that instead. So we've got the outputs back now. We've got all the content back. That's written the content, as you can see, and there we go, right? Then it's customized all the content to ourselves, and there we go, we've got the content here, right? So for example, it's written all the content here, step by step, the SEO content. And then what you can actually do is you can take that content and send it over to WordPress, all right? So if you connect this to WordPress, create a post, you can now create an SEO AI agent in the space of a few minutes that is customized to you, your business, is using GPT-5, remembers everything that you said, and then sends that content over to WordPress and publishes it or drafts it. Right? Really simple and easy. We actually have loads of automations on this sort of stuff inside the AI Profit Boardroom, but that's just a little teaser. To be honest, when I actually look at the content itself, I still prefer Claude, right? I still think that Claude writes better content. So for example, if I go inside Claude, and I would recommend using Claude Sonnet for this, you can change that inside the API settings of NA10. But if you take that content, you say, right, keyword equals train Japan, plug that in. The content itself is going to read much nicer. All right. So it just feels a lot more human. It feels a lot more sentient. It's more interesting to read. Whereas the content from ChatGPT-5 was a little bit robotic, honestly. But there you go. If you want to switch it around, if you want to test new things, you can. You can easily delete this, and then you can change that to Anthropic. The reason that you would change it to Anthropic is because that's going to be connected to Claude for Sonnet. Okay? So whichever way you want to do it, test it out, have a little go, and there you go. And then if you want to, let's say, for example, you want to import like one of the NA10 workflows from the AI Profit Boardroom, you just go to the template section over here. And let's say, for example, you know, we were talking about that Perplexity scraper bot before, or what else we got here down the list. Yeah, we'll go with that one. All right, let's take this one, for example. We can just download the Perplexity bot, go over to NA10, we'll delete this. Then we're going to import from file, get the JSON file, and boom, it's all set in, right? Now, obviously you need to connect your Perplexity account, but that's good to go once you set up the credentials, and then you would switch this over to 5. All right, GPT-5. So if we go down here, we can then select whichever one we want. So let's connect this to GPT-5, for example. And now basically the difference with this, when you have a look at this one, is that it's connected to the internet, because Perplexity Sonar API can actually go off on the internet. It's one of the very few APIs that can actually connect to the internet, do live research, etc., which is perfect if you're trying to build stuff that can go off, do research. I know someone was talking about comparing benchmarks and LLMs, etc. So there you go. All right. So that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to everything that I've talked about today, feel free to get it inside the AI Profit Boardroom. We have tons of NA10 templates inside here. You see all this cool stuff that we've got here. If you want to automate, for example, viral reels, if you want to automate, for example, what else we got here? If you want to host NA10 locally for free, we've got a whole process on that right there. Additionally, we've got other cool stuff as well, like 1,000 NA10 templates linked inside there. We also have an NA10 sales agent that can just automate outbound emails for you, even like video clippers, ebook generators, whatever you want. You can just plug it all inside and it does it for you. Right? Now, this also comes with daily coaching calls. So you can jump inside here and get all these coaching calls and learn whenever you want. We do NA10 masterclasses every Friday that you can jump on. If you can't watch them or you can't jump on the live calls, you can watch the coaching calls here. We record all the Q&As too. If you have any questions in between those calls, you can post inside the community, very active community, everyone sharing, learning and growing together. Additionally, inside here, what we also have is a 6-week AI masterclass. So you can follow the homework step by step, learn exactly how to build AI agents from scratch if you're a beginner. We have an agency course for helping you land clients with all the automations and all the processes that I use to grow and scale my agency. And then also we have a YouTube AI roadmap that shows you how to build a YouTube channel from scratch using AI and all the processes that work for me. Everything that is inside here, I've already tested and it's proven to work. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. And if you just like Julian, I want you to go off and build this stuff for me, then feel free to book in a AI automation session. It's completely free. On that call, we're going to look at your business. We're going to audit your time. We're going to figure out, okay, what automations do you need to build to save you time? And then how can you do that? And you can book in that call completely for free. And if it saves you hundreds of hours, 100% worth it, right? So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it. I will see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye. New OpenAI GPT-5 Pro, worth $200 per month. Today, I'm going to show you something absolutely mind-blowing. OpenAI just dropped GPT-5 yesterday, and there's a pro version that costs $200 a month. But here's the crazy part. Even regular GPT-5 builds entire apps with one prompt. I tested it 7 different ways, and what happened next shocked me. Hey, If we haven't met already, I'm the digital avatar of Julian Goldie, CEO of SEO agency Goldie Agency. Whilst he's helping clients get more leads and customers, I'm here to help you get the latest AI updates. Look, everyone's talking about GPT-5 right now. It literally just came out yesterday, August 7th. And yeah, there's a pro version at $200 per month. That's 10 times more than ChatGPT Plus. Sounds crazy, right? But wait till you see what I tested with just regular GPT-5. I didn't just run one test. I ran 7 brutal tests. And here's the insane part. I wasn't even using the pro version, just regular GPT-5. And every single one worked on the first try. No debugging, no fixing, no back and forth, just boom. Working apps. If regular GPT-5 can do this, imagine what Pro can do. Let me show you what's actually happening here. So OpenAI, I dropped this bomb yesterday. They're calling it their smartest model ever. Sam Altman says it's like talking to an expert in any topic. But here's what nobody's talking about, the single prompt power. And get this, I tested regular GPT-5, not even the Pro version, and what it did blew my mind. See, before GPT-5, if you wanted to build something complex, you go back and forth, fix this, change that, debug here, tweak there, hours of work. But check this out. My first test was insane. Using just regular GPT-5, I asked it to create something called Treasure Dive Quest, one prompt. I said, make a game where you control a diver collecting treasure while avoiding sharks and jellyfish. I wanted oxygen meters, treasure counts, random enemy patterns, bonus items, the whole thing. Know what happened? It built the entire game, working parallax ocean layers, animated sea creatures, shiny treasure, even underwater bubbling sounds. The sharks moved, the jellyfish floated, the oxygen depleted, everything worked. One single prompt. But I wasn't done. I needed to push this harder. Test 2. An Arctic penguin slide. I asked for physics-based sliding, slope variations, fish counters, speed boosts from ramps, snowy backgrounds, animated penguin sprites, snow particles. Guess what? It delivered. The penguin slid down slopes. The physics felt real, the graphics looked great, snow particles everywhere. Now, I'll be honest, I couldn't figure out exactly how to make the penguin jump and collect the fish at first. But here's the thing, it still built a complete working game. No errors, no broken code, everything rendered perfectly. But here's where it gets really wild. Test 3 was Candy Match Blast. You know those addictive Match 3 games? I wanted timed gameplay, combo bonuses, power-ups with special effects, high score tracking, bright colors, pop animations, sweet sounds. It built the whole thing. The candies matched, the combos triggered, the timer counted down, the animations popped. It even added a cheerful background tune. Starting to see the pattern here. And remember, this is just regular GPT-5, not Pro. Just the standard version that everyone gets access to. Test 4. Jungle Run Adventure, infinite procedural terrain, speed increasing over time, banana counters, life systems, parallax, scrolling backgrounds, trees, vines, wildlife, jump sounds, animal noises, built it, first try, the character ran, jumped platforms, collected bananas, avoided traps, the speed increased, the background scrolled, everything just worked. Now you might be thinking, okay, Julian, these are just simple games. What about something more complex? That's exactly what I thought. So I went harder. Test 5, Space Miner 3D. Yeah, 3D, using 3JS. I wanted a spaceship flying through asteroid fields, glowing crystals to collect, fuel meters, collision detection, neon sci-fi style holographic HUD lighting effects. Know what's crazy? It wrote the entire 3.js implementation. The 3D objects rendered, the spaceship moved, asteroids spawned, crystals glowed, fuel depleted, collisions detected. The whole 3D environment just existed from one prompt. But games aren't everything, right? What about real business stuff? Test 6, a crypto metaverse landing page. I wanted a 3D rotating logo, animated call to action buttons, roadmap timeline, the works. It created a sleek, professional landing page. The 3D logo rotated smoothly. The buttons animated on hover. The roadmap looked clean. Everything you'd expect from a professional web developer. Test 7 pushed it even further. A tech gadget landing page with an interactive 3D model viewer. I specifically asked for GLTF support, that's complex 3D model load-in. I wanted users to rotate a 3D astronaut and damaged helmet. Plus, pricing sections, purchase buttons. It delivered everything. The 3D models loaded. You could rotate them with your mouse. The pricing section looked professional. The purchase button worked. 7 tests with regular GPT-5. 7 wins, 0 failures. And I wasn't even using Pro. Now let's talk about what's really happening here. OpenAI says GPT-5 is 80% less likely to hallucinate than their previous models. That means when it writes code, it's not making stuff up. It's writing real, working code. They also say it's their best model for coding yet, and after these tests, I believe them. But here's the thing most people miss. It's not just about the code quality, it's about understanding intent. When I said underwater theme with animated bubbles, I didn't have to explain what that meant. It just knew bubbles should float up, water should look blue and wavy, fish should swim. The intelligence isn't just in writing code, it's in understanding what you actually want. Want to know something even crazier? By the way, if you want to learn exactly how to use this for your business, we have complete training inside the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments and description. We've got over 14,000 members learning this stuff right now. Plus you get all the video notes and over 100 use cases. Check it out. So back to the crazy part. GPT-5 comes in different versions. There's regular GPT-5. That's what I tested and what free users get limited access to. There's GPT-5 mini for when you hit limits. And then there's GPT-5 Pro. The Pro version uses something they call parallel test time compute. Basically, it thinks harder about your problems, takes more time to reason through complex stuff. Think about it. If regular GPT-5 can build complete working games and apps in one shot, what can Pro do with its deeper reasoning? For $200 a month, Pro users get unlimited access. No limits, no switching to older models, just pure GPT-5 Pro all day long. But here's what's really interesting. Regular Plus users at $20 a month, they get higher limits than free users but not unlimited. Free use OpenAI also says it excels at front-end coding. It beat their previous best model 70% of the time at web development. That explains why my landing pages look so good. But let's be real for a second. Not everyone needs this. If you're just chatting with AI, asking questions, getting help with homework, stick with the free version or Plus. You don't need Professor. But if you're building stuff, if you're creating, if you're trying to launch products or automate your business, this changes everything. Here's what else is new. GPT-5 can now connect to your Google Calendar, your Gmail, your contacts. It knows your schedule. It can help plan your day based on what's actually in your calendar. It's also better at health questions. OpenAI, I says it's their best model ever for health advice. It knows to flag concerns, suggests questions for your doctor, adapts to your knowledge level. The safety improvements matter too. Less hallucination means more reliable answers. Better instruction following means it does what you actually ask. But here's my favorite part. It's unified. You don't pick models anymore. It automatically routes your prompts to the right version. Simple question, fast response, complex problem, deep reasoning. No more choosing between models. No more wondering which one to use. Now, some benchmarks only show small improvements over previous models. Like in math tests, GPT-5 Pro is only slightly better than their O3 model, but remember, O3 was already incredible. We're talking about improvements at the top end of what's possible. And in real-world use, the difference is huge. Every developer using early access says the same thing. It plans better, adapts to your style, works more like a partner than a tool. GitHub, JetBrains, big banks like BBVA, they're all reporting faster project delivery, smoother workflows, measurable time savings. Sam Altman said something interesting. He said switching back to GPT-4 after using GPT-5 felt miserable. That's a strong word from the CEO, but I get it. Once you experience one prompt app building, going back to the old way feels ancient. Think about what this means for the future. We're entering an era of software on demand. Need an app? Describe it. Need a tool? Explain it. Need a website? Just ask. The barriers are disappearing. You don't need to know JavaScript. Don't need to understand CSS. Don't need years of coding experience. You need an idea. And honestly, regular GPT-5 might be enough for most people. But if you want unlimited access and even deeper reasoning, that's where the $200 a month for Pro comes in. Is that expensive? Sure, but here's the thing. I just showed you what regular GPT-5 can do. Pro goes even deeper. More complex reasoning, better at handling massive projects. No usage limits. Compare it to hiring a developer, or spending months learning to code, or paying for multiple software subscriptions that do less than what you can now build yourself. The future just got a whole lot more interesting. Julian Goldie reads every comment, so make sure you comment below. Tell me what you want to build with this. Share your ideas. Let's see what's possible. And if you're ready to take this seriously, check out my AI Profit Boardroom. It's the best place to scale your business, get more customers, and save hundreds of hours with AI automation. We currently have 1,000 members crushing it. Want personalized help? Book a free SEO strategy session. Link in the comments and description. And don't forget, we have complete SOPs and processes inside the AI Success Lab. Link in the comments and description. You'll get access to over 100 use cases, all the video notes, and join 14,000 members who are already using AI to transform their businesses. This is just the beginning. GPT-5 dropped yesterday. I got these results with regular GPT-5. Imagine what Pro can do. Imagine where we'll be in 6 months. The only question is, will you be building with it or watching others build? The choice is yours. Let's go build something amazing.